Naruto Storm Connections was just announced a few days ago, so you guys know I had to make this video for you. We are doing a full character roster prediction on who are going to be the new characters coming to Storm Connections. Now, for my predictions, I'm going to be showcasing 10 characters that I think have the highest chance of being added into this new Storm game, and these characters are following a few stipulations that I think you guys will understand. One, I think that all of these characters have to have some form of influence within the BORUTO story. As you guys know, there's a Best Buy description for Storm Connection that let us know that there's going to be a new BORUTO story for the game. So I think most of the new additions to Storm Connections will be BORUTO characters. Next, I also want to preface that some of these characters could potentially be base roster characters when the game officially releases, or they could be DLC characters. Why I say this is because I think Storm Connections is going to be following a similar layout to one of CC2's previous games that was just released last year, JoJo All-Star Battle R. If we look at Storm Connections and we look at JoJo ASBR, they are pretty similar when it comes to how they were officially released. We got very little information about the two, but the one thing that ASBR did show off is that they were getting 10 brand new characters coming to base roster for free. We don't have that confirmation set yet for Storm Connections, but I'm pretty sure we're probably going to get something similar based on the fact that they've already shown off Indra and Ashura, and that they stated that more characters are coming. A lot of times when characters are slated to be DLC with companies, they kind of let you know that those characters are going to be paid for characters, but since they didn't preface that, I believe that Indra and Ashura will be provided as base roster characters for Storm Connections, and I think we're going to be getting a few more characters as well. But to not dwell on ASBR too much, we're going to be focusing on 10 characters that are possibly going to be coming to Storm Connections, and a part of my 10, Indra and Ashura are already on the list accounted for, and so for the next 8 characters, I'm going to be listing off some very popular fan favorite characters that I think are pretty much no-brainers. And for the first 2 picks I'm going to be pulling up is BORUTO and Kawaki. We already have 2 versions of BORUTO within Storm 4, so I don't expect to have any other form of BORUTO that isn't BORUTO. I think BORUTO is the next big thing that we need to be covered within the Storm franchise, especially since that BORUTO or Momoshiki taking over Boruto's body is one of the strong pivotal characters within the Boruto franchise. Next with Kawaki, we already know Kawaki is the Sasuke for Boruto. Kawaki is the next important character part of the franchise, and the fact that he isn't in Storm 4 or wasn't added as Storm 4 DLC has me easily predicting that he will be a character within Storm Connections. Now, both of these 2 characters have a very strong possibility of being paid for DLC just because of how big and how popular they are. With CC2 and Bandai, they are companies, so they could be wanting to capitalize on money any way possible. So them possibly being DLC as paid for characters is very much likely, but I do think that to some degree that Bandai will provide us a lot of these characters for free as official base roster characters. Next, for my next character, I have Ayo. A lot of you guys are probably wondering, why Ayo? Well, Ayo fits the stipulation where he needs to be important within the Boruto story, and as we know early on within the Boruto franchise, Ayo is one of the small antagonists that we get to see him fight the new Team 7, as well as that he is also a character in one of the older Storm games. I'm pretty sure he's only an assist character within them Storm games, but what they can do is that they can use the older model from them Storm games, some of the assist moves that he had within those games, and easily build upon that to have another character added onto the roster. The only thing that we really have to do is give him a few more moves, as well as make the Boruto version of himself. But since he has an older model of his Shippuden self, they already have essentially 2 costume designs for Ayo right there. I'm pretty sure CC2 wouldn't mind reusing and actually putting some assets to use from previous Storm games. But the next one to recover from that, I think, is Kashin Koji. Now, some people will probably think Kashin Koji would be a DLC character. I think that Kashin Koji is like right there in the middle, where he is really important, but he is of least significance that you would be okay with providing him for free for players to play. He is essentially a clone of Jiraiya, so a lot of his movesets can easily be pulled from assets of Jiraiya, making him a pretty easy character for CC2 to develop. Now, for these next 4 characters that I have, I do speculate all 4 of them possibly being DLC characters, but for my prediction video, that doesn't even really matter. We're just talking about the overall 10 characters that could possibly make it into Storm Connections. And the next one we have is BORUTO. BORUTO is one of the card members that again fights new Team 7, and he shows himself as a formidable foe within the series. I think that he is one of the bigger antagonists, a part of the card members that people will be very excited to play him. And I think he could easily provide a very unique moveset that could have people very much interested in trying him out. And since we have that card member, of course I had to follow up with one of the coolest card members to ever grace themselves, especially early on within BORUTO, Delta. Delta fought hand to hand with Naruto, and she was a really cool character. She has a really cool unique ability with being a card member, essentially being able to absorb jutsus and stuff. So seeing that as a playable character within Storm, and I just imagine her being super sick and a lot of people having a lot of fun playing her. Next we have easily a no-brainer pick that I think everybody, and I mean everybody's going to be super excited when they officially show this character, Baruyama Naruto. I think from a design aspect, Baruyama Naruto is probably the coolest Naruto design outside of One Tail QB. He was extremely popular when he was released in Shinobi Striker, so I wouldn't be surprised if they get the same effect if he's released in Storm Connections. He's already have a lot of people making mods of him as well for Storm 4, so easily a really good pick to be added for Storm Connections, but I wouldn't be surprised if they save him to make him as paid DLC. And finally, for the last pick, if you know we added Baruyama Naruto, you know we had to add Ishiki. Ishiki, the biggest villain that Boruto has received so far, from my understanding. I haven't read the Boruto manga in a little bit, but one of the biggest villains that the Boruto manga has received so far, and he is easily probably one of the fan favorites for villains. Ishiki was very much well done, and I think a lot of people love him as a villain and would very much enjoy playing him being in the Storm Connections. He has a very unique moveset. Him and all of the card members as well have very strong unique movesets, easily making them very eye-catching and worthy to be added to the roster characters. Again, he was very popular when he dropped recently within Shinobi Striker, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the same treatment with Storm Connections. So those are my 10 characters. Now, I did mention as well that I have some other characters that I want to go over, and these are my honorable mentions. Now, as you can see on this list of honorable mentions, you guys are probably looking at me really crazy on why would they add these characters. Let me explain. When we go through to Chojuro all the way down to Shizune, all of these characters have models within previous Storm games. Their models already exist, so it will be easy to make them as playable characters. I don't think that they would charge us for these characters, just because the lack of popularity that they actually have will probably result in poor DLC sales, but they could easily provide them as more adding filler to the roster already. And I mean, who would be upset with adding free characters to Storm Connections? Now, when it comes to Shinki and Code, these two are on my honorable mentions list for a few reasons. For Shinki, I think that he is a very popular character, but he does not have a lot of input within the current story of Boruto. He's mostly just known for his moments within the tuning exams, I believe, and I believe he has like another fight with Kawaki, but outside of that, Shinki doesn't really have too much screen time. But he's a beloved character because he is the son of Gaara, so being able to add him within Storm Connections wouldn't be too hard, because they can take apart some of Gaara's and his father's moveset and give something to Shinki. Now with Code is honestly a no-brainer pick when it comes to releasing him within Storm Connections. His popularity is there, his relevance is there, but the only thing holding him back with actually being in my official list is the fact that his arc has not completely started yet within the anime. I know a lot of times with anime games, they want to try to avoid spoiling people. I know they didn't really care about that with Storm. They were just heavily pushing to release a new Storm game, but I think this time around they're going to wait to release Code maybe further down the line with actual DLC once his arc comes into play. I'm pretty sure around the time the official release of the speculated official release of Storm Connections, the Code arc will be starting up, so more than likely he will be a paid for character in the future. And that is my prediction list for Naruto Storm Connections. Let me know how you guys feel about my list in the comment section below, as well as let me know some characters that you think will be making it to Storm Connections. I appreciate you guys, all your love and support. I'll see y'all in the next one.